talk about failure. First, I'm going to talk about experience. Why is experience important? Experience is a way of learning. It's a way of learning that really sticks. John Dewey understood this more than 100 years ago when he and his wife Alice founded the lab school at the University of Chicago. It's the place where learning by doing was the key principle, the key method of teaching. So students, young children, learn math by cooking. They went in a kitchen, they learned how to measure, they learned how to divide, they learned how to add. They learned the principles of math by experiencing their application. Learning to fish is a good example of learning by doing. You don't learn to fish by studying hooks and lines and sinkers in a classroom and then taking a standardized test. You learn to fish by casting your line over and over again into the water. You've all heard the adage, give a man a fish, he eats for a day, teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. So if this person trying to learn to fish, they're casting their line in the water, maybe they have a mentor or a teacher, and that mentor or teacher is coaching them on where to cast the line, how to cast the line, when to cast the line, and eventually the student fisher learns to fish and gets to eat independently and self-reliantly for a lifetime. So that's experience. What about failure? Failure is, failure. Why would we want failure? So a brain scientist at Michigan State named Jason Moser, he recently isolated our reaction to failure. We have a very quick, immediate negative reaction to failure. But interestingly, he also found that there's a second positive reaction to failure, a more sustained reaction that indicates an attention to or a learning from mistakes. So what is it that we can learn from failure? What is it we can learn from being given the opportunity to fail? Experience and failure are a way to learn resilience and persistence. Resilience and persistence are important because they're habits of mind. They're thoughtful, intelligent behaviors. They're habits of mind that lead, in turn, to entrepreneurial behaviors. Entrepreneurial behaviors for artists and other people. So my interest is not really in entrepreneurial behavior as it applies to the commercial marketplace of small business creation and tech startups and all of that kind of thing, although that's very important. My interest rather is in the entrepreneurial behavior that can support artists and artistic creativity. How can we help artists become more entrepreneurial? How can we help them develop the persistence and the resilience that they need in order to be successful, in order to get their art, their creative products in front of an audience? Artists who are resilient, artists who are persistent, will not only persistently create work, they will persistently and resiliently keep putting that work in front of an audience until, like the proverbial spaghetti on the wall, it sticks. So because failure is an excellent teacher, we, and by we here I mean people like me who teach artists, or people who support artists, maybe that includes some of you, we can provide environments where young artists are allowed to fail. There's a show must go on mentality in a lot of arts training that might be doing a disservice to young artists. Instead, we can create an environment where artists can not only experiment with new forms of art, but also with new business models for the arts, business models that enable them to get their work out in front of an audience sooner, more persistently. That's why I've devoted the last several years of my professional life to a university-based arts venture incubator. Very specific kind of environment. In this p.a.v.e. Arts Venture Incubator, students learn by doing, as John Dewey advocated 100 years ago. And this is an incubator that's modeled on small business incubators, but it provides an experiential learning opportunity in which student artists can launch or attempt to launch an arts-based venture. They can get their creative work produced because they produce it themselves. The primary objective of this kind of incubator is educational. So there might or might not be return on investment, as you would expect from a small business incubator, return on investment in either financial or cultural capital, although that does sometimes happen, I'm happy to say. That kind of return is secondary to the educational objective, to the instilling of these habits of mind. The incubator provides seed money and mentorship, connects student arts entrepreneurs to business services. Students learn persistence because they have to secure matching funds to their seed grant. They have to persist at that or they will fail. A music student who started an online business said, sometimes you just have to keep making mistakes in order to make those hard decisions. So let's encourage artists to develop work and ideas for disseminating that work that really stick by providing environments in which failure is not only accepted or tolerated, but actually encouraged as a learning tool, so that artists and other people can gain those habits of mind that will support their success. Thank you very much.